Okay.
And it should be on their cameras too. So you'll see.
Did he threaten you or anything?
Nah, I never talked to him.
Okay.
No,
No contact. I'm just
never talked to him. Thank you, Jesus. Nah, I didn't get out the car. I didn't talk to him. None of that. It's just the point of harassment. People stalking you.
Does he live in your town?
Nope.
No.
He's one of them YouTubers that just like, how can I say it? Jump up on adrenaline.
Okay. Would your
Tiffany Henyard, the embattled mayor of Dalton, Illinois, is now facing serious legal challenges after newly released bodycam footage captured the moment federal agents took her into custody. Henyard has been under federal investigation for months, but her arrest marks a turning point in a saga that has rocked the local community. The charges she faces are severe, centered on allegations of corruption, financial misconduct, and abuse of power, claims that have long dogged her leadership. The release of the footage has ignited a firestorm in Dalton, with residents and local officials expressing a mix of outrage, vindication, and concern. For many, this arrest confirms long-held suspicions that something was deeply wrong in the mayor's office. Calls for transparency and accountability have grown louder, and some residents say the arrest highlights a troubling pattern of incompetence and unethical behavior. The scandal has also shed light on what critics describe as a broader culture of dysfunction within Henyard's administration. It's shocking. One resident said they speak with confidence, but it's all nonsense. Nothing they say adds up. Observers have pointed to erratic communication, questionable decisions, and a disregard for proper governance. For months, speculation swirled about Henyard's conduct, as whispers of corruption and misuse of power spread throughout Dalton. Now, those rumors have turned into reality. Multiple sources have confirmed that the FBI officially intervened and placed Henyard under arrest, signaling a major escalation in the ongoing investigation. As the situation unfolds, the Dalton community finds itself at a crossroads, demanding justice and a return to responsible leadership.
Chicagoland's super mayor might be going to a supermax prison very soon. The FBI issued multiple subpoenas in the last week, and now we know that a federal grand jury has been investigating Tiffany Henyard for corruption since November. I do not know what more they need to see. The residents of the town literally had a rally called Take Our Township Back last week. It won't be her first time behind bars, but unlike when she was arrested for vehicle trespass, she is now facing 22 criminal charges, and her own lawyer just dropped out because guess what? She hasn't paid her bills, and the city now owes as much as $20 million. This is what happens when people who did not earn their position of authority get access to power. If you didn't know, while she was voted mayor back in 2021, the vast majority of her income and power really comes from her position as township supervisor, where she makes over $220,000 a year. But she only has that huge salary because she inherited it with the position from the predecessor who passed away. Tiffany actually passed an incredibly shady ordinance, so if somebody defeated her in the next election, their salary would only be $25,000. So it's literally not worth it to run against her.
You know it's a bad situation when the residents think the best idea is to bring in Lori Lightfoot for $400 an hour.
It's so frustrating how slow the wheels of justice turn, but it feels like this story is starting to accelerate, and I hope that Dalton citizens don't have to wait much longer to see her in.
Tiffany Henyard, the embattled mayor of Dalton, Illinois, is now at the center of a sweeping federal investigation, with newly released bodycam footage capturing the moment FBI agents took her into custody. Her arrest marks a turning point in a long-brewing political and legal storm that has engulfed the village of Dalton for months. With accusations ranging from financial misconduct to abuse of power, Henyard's leadership is under intense scrutiny, and many believe justice may finally be catching up. Village trustees, who had long voiced their concerns about Henyard's leadership, say they finally feel a sense of relief. For months, they had warned the public about alleged misdeeds and questionable spending practices, urging for intervention. "We've been asking for someone to come out here and save us," one trustee said. "There's been a lot of spending we weren't even made aware of." To them, the federal intervention is not just welcome, it's overdue. The FBI's investigation into Henyard's administration has revealed troubling patterns of alleged corruption and mismanagement. Federal agents reportedly served subpoenas at both Dalton Village Hall and Thornton Township, obtaining business records and personnel files, including those of police officers. According to court-authorized documents, the scope of the investigation covers misuse of taxpayer funds, improper financial dealings, and unethical conduct that may have gone unchecked for years. The village's finances are in dire straits, burdened with millions in debt, and residents are left to suffer the consequences. Public outrage has mounted as more details emerge. Critics accuse Henyard of running the village more like a personal enterprise than a public office. Some allege she engaged in retaliation against employees and trustees who dared to question her authority. One former staffer has even accused her of sexual assault during a city-funded trip to Las Vegas, while others claim they were illegally terminated or went unpaid for extended periods. The scale and range of the allegations paint a picture of chaos and fear within the village administration. The village board took action by hiring former Chicago mayor and ex-U.S. Attorney Lori Lightfoot to lead an independent investigation into Henyard's leadership. Lightfoot's findings further confirmed many of the trustees' and residents' suspicions, detailing financial mismanagement, lack of transparency, and deliberate obstruction of oversight efforts. Among the most damning accusations is the alleged misuse of Henyard's full-time police security detail. A former police chief claimed the mayor routinely used officers for personal errands, rather than assigning them to active duty roles. "We needed those officers out on the street fighting crime," one critic said. Instead, they were being used as her personal chauffeurs. This misuse of public resources raised alarm bells over compromised public safety and deepened concerns about Henyard's priorities as mayor. Critics have now labeled Henyard one of the most corrupt mayors in Dalton's history, and perhaps one of the most controversial local leaders in the country. Reports suggest she has created a hostile political environment, silencing dissent through intimidation and removing those who refuse to fall in line. Multiple residents and public officials have come forward to describe a culture of fear, retaliation, and dysfunction. Who is Tiffany Henyard? Once a rising political figure, she currently serves as mayor of Dalton and holds a simultaneous leadership role in Thornton Township. Her dual positions and the salary that comes with them have raised eyebrows. Public records show Henyard draws a combined salary of roughly $225,000 annually. Despite this, she proposed a drastic salary cut for any future mayor, slashing it to just $25,000, a 90% reduction many see as an attempt to deter potential challengers. Even so, a number of community members have expressed their willingness to run, motivated not by money, but by the desire to restore integrity to their local government. The financial controversies don't end with her salary. Public funds have reportedly been used to promote her personal brand. Billboards featuring Henyard's face have been plastered across town. Government buildings and vehicles are decorated with her image, and a 2024 calendar included a personal shout-out to her own birthday. Even more alarmingly, she has been accused of using taxpayer money to support her personal charity, which has since been ordered by the Illinois Attorney General to cease fundraising. These allegations have taken a heavy emotional toll on Dalton residents. Many say they feel betrayed, silenced, and left behind by the very official who was supposed to protect their interests. Survivors of Henyard's alleged abuse and intimidation are now beginning to speak out. One woman, her voice trembling with emotion, shared, "I waited 20 years. I waited 30 years. I always told myself that if something like this ever happened to me, I would fight back." As the investigation deepens, the community is demanding accountability. The damage inflicted during Henyard's time in office, financial, emotional, and institutional, will take years to repair. Yet there is also a growing sense of unity among residents, trustees, and former employees, who now feel empowered to speak the truth. With federal authorities fully engaged, the people of Dalton are hopeful that justice will prevail and that their village can begin to heal. To many, justice may feel sudden, but for those closest to the turmoil in Dalton, Illinois, it's been a long and painful journey. One former staffer, who chose to speak publicly for the first time, shared an emotional account of her decision to come forward. "I put my suffering aside. I put my depression aside. I prayed about whether I should sit here and tell my story," she said. "Now I'm ready. I'm not just fighting for myself anymore. I'm fighting for every woman who's been in my shoes. I'm fighting for the sister without a voice, the sister who's scared, the one who doesn't have a sister. This isn't just about me." Internally, staff have described a workplace culture marked by indifference, dysfunction, and intimidation under Mayor Tiffany Henyard's leadership. Multiple aides reported that Henyard often dismissed serious concerns while multitasking during meetings, brushing aside critical issues with little more than a glance. One assistant recalled a particularly disheartening moment while preparing for a trip to Las Vegas, a trip Henyard labeled as official business. The aide, whose 31st birthday happened to fall on the travel date, remembered how excited she felt just to be near Vegas. "I work hard," she said. "Just being there would have meant something." But the trip, and others like it, has since come under fire with evidence pointing to widespread financial abuse. From lavish hotel stays to extravagant meals and entertainment expenses, Henyard's use of taxpayer money has left Dalton reeling. What was once a routine mayoral administration has morphed into a national scandal, with mounting accusations, a federal investigation, and widespread outrage from the community. Henyard's increasingly erratic public behavior has only deepened concern. In one widely circulated video, she is seen yelling, "Y'all forget I'm the leader. They want to hear from the mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing but run." The outburst struck a nerve. Many said it confirmed what they had feared all along, that Henyard was governing with unchecked authority, ignoring the will of the people and marginalizing the very officials meant to provide oversight. Former Chicago Mayor and U.S. Attorney Lori Lightfoot, who was hired by the Dalton Village Board to lead an independent investigation, has since revealed disturbing findings. According to Lightfoot, taxpayer money that should have supported community services was instead spent on personal luxuries, questionable business ventures, and a host of unnecessary purchases. These financial decisions worsened Dalton's already dire fiscal state, leaving real community needs underfunded and ignored. One longtime resident, Manning, voiced the frustration of many. "All this money," he said, "on air fryers, hotels, high-end restaurants like Ruth's Chris, Cafe Hollywood, hot-end juicy crawfish. All of it paid by taxpayers because she claimed she was attending a conference." He added that she even made purchases at Bubba Gump Shrimp Company, bought a souvenir hat, and wore it to a town council meeting. Ironically, on the same day officials questioned her about her spending spree in Las Vegas. The absurdity didn't end there. When a local news reporter tried to question Henyard about the trip, the interview quickly devolved into confusion. Before airing, the reporter warned, "This is not a show. This is not a comedy. This is real life." Then came the exchange. Reporter asterisk, "You didn't go to Las Vegas?" Henyard asterisk, "No car." Reporter asterisk, "You don't know if you were in Las Vegas?" Henyard asterisk, "Of course I do." Reporter asterisk, "Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?" Henyard asterisk, "Any other questions?" Perhaps the most bizarre revelation was Henyard's decision to produce a professionally filmed music video, funded with taxpayer money. It wasn't even an original track. She lip-synced over an existing song, complete with a full production team and elaborate visuals. One critic commented, "This isn't just a political scandal anymore. It's a full-blown comedy show." Online, reactions have exploded. Some have even joked about turning the saga into a documentary. "Look at her walking with the cops like she's untouchable," one viewer wrote. "Everything we've talked about, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I could do a 10-part series on Tiffany Henyard. She's not just corrupt. She's iconic in the worst way." What has shocked observers most is Henyard's apparent indifference to accountability. When challenged, she appears to shrug it off. The public now views her behavior as brazen, with one observer noting, "It's like she's saying, I'm going to keep spending taxpayer dollars, and I'm going to keep it moving." Tiffany Henyard's time as mayor is now cemented in infamy, not for achievements or leadership, but for a legacy defined by unchecked power, relentless controversy, and a seemingly endless list of allegations. Once a local political figure, she has become a national cautionary tale, one that Dalton and the country won't soon forget.